Ah, you have another soul who just came in. Look at that. Okay, very good. Okay, so this is lesson 30, and it's July 23rd, 2025. So the Pritza is said to, Yaakov said to her, Erhot gemust. And she says to him, and she's talking about this Yid that was in her place before. Erhot gekent reden in Gramen, in a Koi der Welt von Polish, Yiddish und allerlei poerische Wörter. He could speak in rhymes, in a kind of gibberish of Polish. He could speak Yiddish and all kinds of peasant words. Zwischen den Jiden in Stettel hat man ihm verrechnet für a Gelernten. Among the Jews in the shtetl, he was considered a learned person. Hat Chasene gemacht, die Tochter, mit der Sohn von Arabin. He married his daughter to a son of a rabbi. Und jener hat alle Juden sich geschockelt über die Gebetbücher und der Schwer hat ihm ausgehalten. So, and this son-in-law was shaking over the prayer books, and the shver, that is to say, the father-in-law, sustained him, provided sustenance for him. Was ist geworden von ihm? Yaakov asks, what became of him? Von dem Alten? Räuber haben ihm der Harvest. From the old one, robbers murdered him. Let me close this door here. Wie äußerlich, aber noch Ede, der Priester, hat geentfällt, hat Jakob gewusst mit etwas verborgenem Chor, als das wird sein der Entfell. It was strange, but even before the noblewoman had answered, Yaakov had known from some kind of a secret power or strength that this was going to be the answer. Es ist ihm geworden übel der Teva. Sort of, it was like more than he could tolerate, more than Yaakov could tolerate. Wie die Pritze wollt genommen, als sie hat ihm treuerig gemacht mit ihrer Werte, hat sie gerettet. As though the noblewoman was aware that she had made him sad with her words, she spoke. Nu, hat seine Jahren ausgelebt. Well, look, he had lived out his years. Is der Unterschied wie soll Gestalt? Is it a big difference how we die? Eins is sicher. One thing is for sure. Sterben muss man. One thing is for sure. We're going to die. Unless any of you has read the Basheva story, the Noch Geschrigene, the one who was called back by the wife, where he didn't die, but it has a bad ending that he didn't die. Helmut kann ich mich etwas nicht vorstellen, als es wird sein a Welt on mir. Sometimes I cannot accept or introduce the idea that there's going to be a world without me. Die Sonne wird scheinen, the sun will shine, der Himmel wird sein leuchten, the sky will be bright, die Bäume in Garten werden blühen, the trees in the garden are going to bloom. Nor ich will nicht sein, but I will not be. Es durch sich mir, as it is unmöglich. It seems to me that it's impossible. Aber ot red ich mit alter Leid und sie erzählen hier und allerlei Geschehnissen, was haben getroffen, edel ich bin geboren geworden. I thought that was impossible, that the world would go on without me. But sometimes I talk with old people and they tell me of all kinds of things that happened before I was born. Euch dämmelt haben die Beine geblieht und die Vögel haben gesungen und ich bin nicht gewesen dabei. Also then, the trees were blooming and the birds were singing, and I was not there. Is then das nicht das eigene? It's the same thing. I wasn't there before and I won't be there after. Derweil, mein lieber Jankov, this is the third time she said that to him, let's das Hart noch genuss. Let's, my dear Yankov, let's enjoy. Special in die Nacht, especially in the night. Yeah. Ich lieg allein und ahum mir ist finster. I lie alone and I am in the darkness. Habt ihr mal gesehen a Wildkolak? Have you ever seen a werewolf? Gesehen? Nein. Gnädige Panay. No, I have not. Oh, enlightened noblewoman. Ich euch nicht, aber seinen do Wildkolaken. I have also not seen it, but there are werewolves. Talmud will sich mir allein a Haus kriegen, in der Nacht auf alle vier und wohin. Sometimes I want to crawl out in the night on all fours and howl. Varvus epis, why such a thing? Oh, Azoy, just like that. Ich kann noch einmal kommen zu euch, Janke, und dämmelt, seid gewohnt, weil ich bin a gefährlicher Weltvecher. I could sometimes come to you, Jankov, and I'm warning you that I am a terrible little wolf cub, and not in the Kruger forest. Plötzlich hat die Prinzessin angehabt Jakobin bei dem Handgelenk und a Hof getun. Suddenly, the noblewoman grabbed Yaakov by his wrists and shouted, Ich bin noch nicht so alt. I'm not so old, Yaakov. Give me a kush. Give me a kiss. The flesh is the flesh. Yaakov is geworden versteinelt. Yaakov just became petrified, a stone, steinelt. Ich tue nicht, gnädige Priester. I cannot do this, oh enlightened noblewoman. Mein Religie verbietet, my religion forbids this. Ich bet über die gnädige Priester viel more. I beg of you many times. And she says to him, Il darf nicht überbeten. You don't have to apologize. Ich bin ein Narr und ihr seid ein Jid. I'm a fool and you're a Jew. In eure Orderen fließt nicht kein Blut, nur Borscht. In your veins, there's no blood. There's just Borscht. Gnädige Priester, ich hab Meure von Gott. I enlightened noblewoman, I am afraid of God. Nu, Gate to him. Good. Go to him. So that's the end of that meeting. Der alluldiker Ovent is gewein zummeldick warm. The Elul evening was summertime warm. Die Felder seien gelegen abgeschnittener. The fields had been cut. It had been plowed. Aber von der Erde. Say again?
Harvested.
Harvested. That's the correct word. Thank you. Aber von der Erde seien aufgegangen leibliche Heuchen. But from the earth, there came out like warm air. Die Grillen haben gerilzt. This is a very, he has more than once referred to the crickets in this book. The crickets were chirping. Die Frösche haben gequacket. The frogs croaked. A halbe Levona is gestanden in Himmel und es hat gewacht über ihr a lichtige Stern, was hat geleuchtet mit ein äußerlich Licht, bläulich, grünlich, mit der Schimmel nicht von der Welt. A half moon in the sky was standing over, was watching over a bright star, which was lit with a very unusual light, blue and green, with a shimmer not of this world. Hat gesehen, wahrscheinlich, als das dosige Pintele ist ergens a groß Licht, a gewaltige himmlischer Schein. It was obvious that this little point was someplace, a big light, an amazing heavenly shine. Jakob ist gegangen und nicht abgenommen den Blick von die Heuchenischen. Jakob was going and he didn't take his eyes from, he didn't move his eyes from the high places. Do auf de Erde is so gut wie a verlorener. On this earth, he was a lost soul. Die Klem is gewohnt als Engel, the distress, the vice, V-I-S-E, that he was in, had become even tighter. Remember, she had warned him that people were talking about him. Von alle Seiten haben die Sekones geläuert, ihn zu verlenden. From all sides, the dangers were coming in to destroy him. A Savara, as hat schon verloren jene Welt euch. Very likely, he had lost this world, and very likely he had lost the next world. Aber es ist full.
So this, sorry, Nechama, this word asphora.
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 Asphora. So it means, very likely asphora.
It's possible. It's possible.
It's possible that he had lost the next world and he had also lost this world. Aber es ist voll, dreist zu wissen, als es ist doch a Gott, Melochen, Shaforim, is that how you say this? Shahofim?
Srophim.
Srophim, Lichtika Olemus. But it was even though he lost this world, and very likely he's lost the next world, but it was nonetheless a comfort to him to know that there's a God and there were angels and there are light worlds, lichtige Olemus. In Städtel hat Jakob sich gemusst hitten, reinzugucken in a Sefer. When he was in the Städtel, he had to hide that he would look into a Sefer, a holy book. Hat nicht gewollt, mir soll ihm halten verlanden. Moire gehad for Ashodim, for Defos. He didn't want to be considered a learned person, and he feared the suspicions and the persecutions. Besonders darf man sein gewohnt, nicht reinzugucken in a Kabbalah Sefer, and especially you didn't want to be looking into a book of the a Sefer of the Kabbalah. Do in Hoyf, he was living outside, hat jede freie Minute gekonnt lernen in Sforim. But here, when he was in the court of Adam, he could every free minute look in the holy books. Hat gehabt mitgenommen mit sich a Sefer Yetzira, Raziel HaMelech, und a Tikunei Zohar. The only one of those that I could begin to identify as the Zohar. He had taken with himself a Sefer Yetzira, a Raziel HaMelech, I don't know what that is, and the Zohar, something with this.
Yeah, these are all Kabbalistic
books,
Kabbalistic writings.
Works. Hat sie genommen bei Schmira gegen die Masikim, wie euch unterzulegen, Sachen unter den Kischen, wenn sie wett liegen a Kimpet. He had taken these books as a protection against the devils, and also he was going to lay it under Sarah's cushion when she was in childbirth. Derweil hat in sie geblättert. In the meantime, since they weren't being used under Sarah's head, he would rifle through these books. Verstehen, was dort ist geschrieben, ist nicht für einem wie Yankov. To really understand what was written there was not for the likes of somebody like him, Yankov. Aber die Werte allein, die Osios, haben in sich a Kedusha. But just the words, the letters, had a holiness. Von gucken euch sie, wird der Moach geleitet. From just looking at them, even without understanding, the brain was educated. It is a filu azchia zu sein a Sindiker zwischen a Zoifil Olamus, Hichlus, Sorim. It was a privilege to be a blemished one. What's the right word for that? A sinful one among so many worlds and guardian angels soaring. Jakob hat gedenkt von Lernen dem Etzachayim von Ha'ari HaKodesh, the mystic in Sfat, als die Klippe ist nicht mehr wie Zimtzum, Ledigkeit, Hestelponim. So he learned from looking at the book of the mystic of Sfat that the klipa, the shell, is not more than tzimtzum, reduction emptiness and the hidden face. I don't understand any of that, but that it's Kabbalistic. Tshuva kon machen from Averas mitzvahs. So repentance can make from sins good deeds, mitzvahs. From dinim, chostem, from laws, you can come to grace. There can be this
chasodim.
Chasodim. Chasodim. Yes, that would be chasodim. You can come to grace. Amol is a filu, an avera, a gefes for tikunim. Sometimes even a sin is a vessel for correction, for raising yourself up.
A gefes.
A gefes for tikunim, a vessel for correction. Azoi hat Jakob gesindigt, was hat geglust zu der Wandin, Jan Bajik's Tochter. Jakob, had sinned when he had lusted for Wanda, Jan Bashik's daughter. Hat sich demult allein verglichen zu Zimri ben Sloa. He then even compared himself to Zimri ben Sloa, who was the man who had the relations with was it the Moabite woman or the Midianite woman, and Pinchas? Midianite woman. Yeah. And Pinchas slayed them, and that was
he wasn't simply a man, he was the leader of the tribe of Shimon, so it was a very serious transgression.
Well, it was transgression on the part of Zimri ben Sloa.
Yeah.
Not on the part of Pinchas.
No, on the part of Zimri ben Salu.
Yeah, Salu. Salu, okay. Aber jetzt ist die Sarah bas Abraham und sie hat bei geboren ein jüdisch Kind, herabgebringen ein jüdische Neshama von Kisei HaKovod. But now, in contrast with that, she had become Sarah, the daughter of Abraham Avinu, and she was about to give birth to a Jewish child. She was going to bring a Jewish soul from the heavens. Das, was Jakob, ist beigestanden dem Nessian mit der Pritze, die Panai Pilitska, hat gehalten für Schus. The fact that he, Yaakov, was able to withstand this temptation with the noblewoman, the wife of Adam, he held for a privilege. Nu, aber wat wird der Dozikel Schus im Baschiren von der Netz, was ist ausgespreit auf ihm. But would this privilege protect him from the net that was spread over him? Azoi wie is bashert, azoi ved sein. Okay, I'll just read. We have another reader tonight, Mr. Sal. No, okay, all right. So then I'll read one more chapter. Jakob ist gegangen auf den Steg zwischen die Felder und von unter die Fies seinen aufgesprungen allerlei Beschäftignischlech. So Jakob was going along the paths between the fields, and under his feet sprang all kinds of little creatures. Teil seinen gewohren zu treten, Andere seinen ontrunen. Some of these creatures were trampled and some disappeared. Der Beschäfer hat reingelegt in jeder Fliegele, in jeder Mik, a Sachofma, aber hat nicht geschäumt, sehr Gufimle. The Creator had put in every fly, in every flea, wisdom, but he had not treated them with their bodies with respect. That's why they were so vulnerable. Wer hat gehabt Fies, hat euch sie getreten. Anybody who had feet could trot on them. Sie haben gegessen und geschlungen eins das andere. They ate, one ate the other. Von deswegen hat Jakob nicht gemerkt in Ehrgeiz. Gut in sein eigen Gemüt. Kein Spur von Treue. Nonetheless, Jacob did not feel from anywhere except from his own mood any trace of sadness. Die Sommernacht is full mit Freude, full mit Gesang und Brummenisch. The summer night was filled with happiness, with song, and with humming. Is that it? Humming?
Buzzing.
Buzzing, hummings.
Yeah.
Except what he was feeling inside. Warme Windlicht haben gebracht Rechus von Tavoya, von Obst, von Wald. The warm winds brought the smells of the grain, of the fruit, and of the fields. The Nacht allein is wie a Kabbalah Sefer, full mit Shemos, Nekudos, Royen, Dreisen. We're into something I don't know anything about. The night was like itself. The night itself was like a sefer of the Kabbalah, full of names, of mysteries, Kabbalistic mysteries, points, Nekudas, points. Himmel and Erd haben sich gehabt. Yeah.
Sorry, Nechama, it's Razin de Razin.
Razin de Razin.
Secrets,
Razin de Razin. Secrets,
yeah.
Kabbalistic secrets. Razin de Razin.
Yeah.
Yes. It's amazing the four of it. He thought his readers would understand all this. Maybe they did. Himmel und Erd haben sich gehabt gehofften. Heaven and earth merged. Ergens in a Winkelhimmel hat geblitzt, aber es hat nicht gedunert. Somewhere in a corner of the sky, there was some lightning, but there was no thunder. Sterne seien gestanden wie Osios, wie Pintelech, wie Top. Stars were standing like letters, like points, like steps. Über die abgeschnittene Weiten haben sich gezunden feierlich. Over the gardens that had been shorn, that had been, what was the word that you used, Yaakov?
Harvested.
The harvested gardens. There were little feierlich, little lights. Alles is voll mit Gerät, mit Geschrift, mit Gesug. It was filled with, everything was filled with talk, with song, and with legends. Von Mol zu Mol hat Jakob vernommen a Geschoch wie an ungesehene Wolf im Epis eingeräumt in Oil. From time to time, Yaakov noticed a sound as though some unseen thing was whispering in his ear. Is gegangen an herumgeringelter mit Koches, Guter, Beser, der Baremdiker, Spottischer, jeder mit sein Natur and Schliches. So he's going along, he's going along with his strengths, good, bad, merciful, mocking, each one with its own nature and its own message. Do hat vernommen a Sitz und do a Lachenisch. Here he felt a sigh, and here he felt a laughter. Do hat Jakob a Fuß sich a Sträuchel getun, wie zum Fallen, und gleich hat Emmet zugestellt dem Tritt seinem offen gleichen Boden. Here he would hit an uneven spot in the road, and immediately something would pick him up, and so he would go on the straight path. He had been saved. Das Geralgenisch is gewesen, sei in him, sei äußer ihm. This struggle was within him and outside him. Hat Abraham und wieder gedankt Gott, was ist a Haus an unbefältiger von dem Priester, aber hat gezittert vor ihr Zorn. He thanked God over and over again that he had emerged from this temptation with the priester, unblemished. He hadn't fallen, but he was frightened of her anger. Hat gebankt noch Sachen und gewollt, was gichel sein in der Heim. He was longing to be with Sarah and wanted as quickly as possible to be home. Wer weiß, who knows? Efter hat sie schon gekrogen Geburt wehen. Who knows? Maybe she already started the birth process. Emes, es ist do a Dienst in Heus, und ein Brera kann man sich benommen mit der Hebam von Dorf. It's true that there is a servant in the house, and if there's no other choice, you could bring a midwife from the village. Aber Jakob hat gewollt, das Kind soll werden abgenommen durch a jüdische Tochter. But he, Yaakov, wanted the child to be taken by a Jewish woman. Hat nicht gehabt Bedeya, dort zu bleiben, allein in der Yamim Noraim. He did not want to stay in this place in the holiday times, which were coming. It's already Elul. Wie nur wird ein bisschen sich verticken mit die Socken von der Pach, wird sich zurück rüberziehen in Pilitz. Aber wir wird ihm losen leben? Wir wird ihm losen leben. Not a question. As soon as he could a little finish up with the business of this contract that he had, the arrender, he would go back to Pilitz if they would let him live. Okay, Yaakov.
Okay, but
Plenty to read.
We need to lower to go on to the next page.
Marcia. We've gotten lost in the Kabbalah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, not
Okay.
simple.
Nu hob nicht kein Meira. So don't be afraid. Hat Jakob sich untergegeben Courage. Yaakov gave himself, tried to give himself a bit of courage. Hat sich der Mund wieder melamed, hat mit ihm ausgerät Jakobs
Here we go.
Broche.
Uh-huh.
He remembered how the melamed, the Cheder teacher, had uttered Jacob's blessing. Yehuda ato yoducha ochicha. Yehuda, your brothers shall praise you. Yehuda hat sich Yehuda reingerückt in a Winkel. Hat sich geschrocken, als me wird ihm der Monnen die sind von Tamaren, hat Jakob gesagt. So Yehuda sort of moved himself into a corner, and he was afraid that they would mention the sin of Tamar, Yaakov said. So the sin of Tamar was when Yehuda was walking in the field, and this woman came to him dressed up as a prostitute, and it was actually his daughter-in-law, Tamar. Mm-hmm. And he had relations with her, and she fell pregnant. Her husband had died, and his brother didn't want to marry her. This was the story, Genesis 38. Yehuda sollst gar nicht kein Meure haben. Yehuda, you really don't need to be afraid. Sollst nicht zittern und sollst nicht flattern. You don't need to tremble and you don't need to be anxious. Ato, du, Yoducha, you, your brothers will praise. Wellen dich leuben, achicho, deine Brüder, your brothers will praise you. Weil von dir wird herauskommen David HaMelech. Because from your line, King David will eventually emerge. Wie lang is denn darin, als Jakob hat gelernt in Cheder? So how long is it since he, Jakob, had studied in Cheder? Der Niggen von dem Ausreders hat ihm geklungen in die Ohren. The melody of the explanations, the sayings, still rang in his ears. Der Melamed is gehat umgekommen in Al-Kiddush Hashem, aber hat jetzt geschwebt vor Jakobs Blick wie a Bild auf a Leinwand, mit alle Knätschen, mit alle Tenues. This Melamed had been killed, martyred by the Haidamaks, but still now he hovered in front of Yaakov's glance like a figure on on linen, with all the wrinkles, with all the movements that he used to make. Jakob hat gedenkt, die Chederinglich euch, jeder mit seiner Stick und Hawaiis, Meishale, Koppele, Chaim, Beryl, Tuvia, Meir. And Yaakov remembered all the Cheder boys as well, each one with his tricks and as if they were part of a gang. And he lists the names. Wo seien sie alle? Where are they all? Mistome nicht geblieben kein einer. Probably not one of them remained alive. Sie wissen schon Millionen mehr Seudes von ihm, Jaakoven. They know many more secrets than he, Jakob, does. Jeder einer von sie is schon ergens in die Eulemus Elyonim. Each one of them is somewhere in the upper worlds, the worlds above. Jakob ist gegangen und von der Seite ist mitgelaufener Schotten. Nicht einer, nur zwei Schottens. A Kerndiker und a Schaliker. Yaakov was walking, and on one side there he was sort of running next to him was a shadow, not one, but two shadows. A Kerendiker, a vigorous one, and a Shaliker. I couldn't find the word Shalik. I think from the context it means one who was quiet. Aval is Yaakov gehad zugekommen zu Azump. And after a while, Yaakov came to a marsh or a swamp. Hat genommen sinken, and he began to sink into this swamp. Hat sich erschrocken, soll nicht einsinken in dem schleimigen Gemäusechts. And he was afraid that he would sink into the slimy muck. Hat sich weggerissen von dem Ort und gemacht a breite Hakoffer. He pulled himself away from that place, and he made a broad circuit around it. Mm-hmm. Die Levona hat geworfen Netzen vor ihm. The moon threw nets around him, for him. Zumal hat sich Jaakoven ausgeducht, als Schlang entläuft vor ihm mit a Sickenisch. From sometimes Yaakov imagined that a snake was running in front of him, hissing. Die Nacht ist gewesen voll mit Kischef. Jakob hat noch nicht gekonnt genau dem Weg. The night was full of witchcraft. Yaakov still didn't know the way back home from the Schloss, from the castle. Hat allemal ein bisschen geblonget, wenn ist gegangen von Häuf zu sich in Stub. He always got a little lost when he went from the court from the to his house. Der Schloss hat aufgetaucht wie von Draht und ist bald wieder eingesunken. The castle appeared suddenly from the earth and then immediately disappeared again. Sank, disappeared again. Noch a while is aufgekommen von einander Seite, and after a while he came around from another side. In ein Fenster hat geleuchten a Lamp und Jakoben hat ausgedacht, als sieht von der Weitens das Gestalt von die Priester.
Ah,
Yeah, in the window, there was a window was lit by a lamp, a candle, and Jacob imagined that he saw in the distance the figure of the noblewoman. Is gekommen dahin, danken Gott, getroffen
ahem. He came home. Ahem.
Is gekommen daheim. Sorry, yeah.
That's all right.
Is gekommen daheim und danken Gott, getroffen Soren a Gesundheit. He came home and thank God he found Sora well. Sie ist gestanden beim Oven und gekocht vor ihm Nachtmahl auf ein Dreifuß. She was standing at the oven and she was cooking dinner for him on a tripod. Die Sosnezweigler haben geflackert. The pine twigs were burning, were blazing. Es hat geschmeckt mit Räuch. It smelt of smoke. California, frisch gemolkene milk. It smelt of smoke. I think this California is resin. Freshly milk, milk that had been freshly milked from the cows. Sarah's Bauch hat sich verrissen, hoch und spitzig, aber das Ponym ist geblieben mädelsch. Sarah's belly was sitting high up and pointy, but her face remained girlish. Jakob hat gewollt reden zu ihr, aber sie hat ihm gegeben stumme Zeichens. Jakob wanted to speak to her, but she gave him silent signs. Gäste seinen gehad gekommen. Some guests had arrived. Sie seien gesessen in Drößen auf Bänkelech, auf Kletzer, 3 Weiber und ein Mannsbild. They were sitting outside on benches, on logs, 3 women and 1 man. Sie haben gehört von dem Ness, wie die Stimme hat ungeheben reden. They had heard of the miracle of how this mute had begun to speak. Sie seien gehad gegangen zu Fuß Meilen, weil sie haben begehrt, als Sorre soll sie benchen. They walked for miles by foot because they wanted Sarah to bless them. Jakob hat verstellt a while das Ponim mit die Hand. Jakob covered his face for a while with his hands. Und zu was der Liegen hat der Viert. What the lie had um, had resulted in, had led to.
Had led them, yeah, led.
Ja. Jacob, opgenaard Jeden. He, Jacob, had deceived Jews. Menschen wollen zu lieb ihm auf wegen geben euch Geld, werden verschwarzt. People roamed the ways because of him. They spent money and they became verschwarzt, they became blackened. Kon sein ärgere Gneves dat? Could there be any worse kind of deception? Yaakov is a rois ze makabel ponim sein. Yaakov went out to welcome them. Auf a Benkel is gesessen a breit pleitziger Jid mit a koitiker Bord, gedichte Bremenbarschen, a reuter nose full mit Weinperlach. On a bench there was sitting a corpulent Jew with a dirty beard, with thick brush-like eyebrows, a red nose full of warts. Von der zerkrustigter Jupiter hat rausgeguckt a horrige Brust, a langer Taliskotten. From his, I think it's his stained long coat, there peered out a hairy chest and a long Taliskotten, a long undergarment. Wenn Jakob hat sich bewiesen, hat sich aufgestellt. When Jacob appeared, he stood up. Neben ihm, after is gelegen a torbe von a bettler. Next to him, on the ground, was lying the sack of a beggar. Die drei Jiddenes seien alle gewinn klein, mit kopftichlich und in fartiger. The three women were all small, with head coverings and aprons. Einer hat gehad auf der Scheuß a Bintel, einer a Kerbel, und einer hat gehalten inmitten beißen a killeribel. One of the women had a bundle in her lap, one a basket, and one was in the middle of taking a bite from a kohlrabi. Sie haben sich euch aufgerissen von die Erde, and they also stood up when Jacob appeared. Guten Abend, Bruchim aboim, hat Yaakov gesagt. Good evening, welcome, Yaakov said. Guten Abend, Rebbe, hat der Jid also getan mit a tief häserig Kol. So, good evening, Rebbe, the Jew said with a deep, hoarse voice. Ich bin nicht kein Rebbe, nor a posheter Yid, hat Yaakov sich angerufen. I'm not a rabbi, but a simple Jew, Yaakov called out. Ob Gott hat euch beschenken mit a Tzedekes, sind ihr allein euch a Tzadik, hat geantwortet einer von die Weiber. If God gave you such a righteous wife, you yourself are a tzaddik, a righteous man. One of the women answered. Should we carry on?
Yeah,
Maybe Saul would like to read a little bit.
Dus Gast zijn geblieben über Nacht. So the guests stayed overnight. Sora hat vor allem gekocht Nachtmahl. Sarah cooked cooked for all of them the evening meal. Noch ein Essen hat Sura what's that word? Stimmigkeit gebencht die Achronim.
The Oichim.
The what?
The Oichim.
Oh yeah, the Oichim, which is what?
The guests.
Oh, okay. The Weiber hat sie aufgelegt the hand auf the Kopf. So she took and put her hands on their head. Zu Manns Will hat sie gemurmelt, Abruche mit halb verschlossene Leufzen. So for Manus, she kind of mumbled a prayer with a halb verschlossene Leipzig, with a half-locked, what is a Leipzig?
Lips, half-closed lips.
Oh, okay, closed lips.
But well, it isn't for manners. It's to mansville, to the man.
Oh, to Mansell, Mansville,
to the man. There was a man, that very attractive character that we read about.
And so she said a prayer over him with half.
She murmured a prayer with half closed lips, just because she wasn't touching him.
So sie hat allem gegeben Zeichnis und angewiesen mit a Finger zum Himmel. So she gave everyone what Zeichnis?
Zeichens or signs.
Oh, a sign and pointed her finger to heaven. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Sora is bald geworden mit ein gegeben Jakoben a Simon as sie geht. Can you raise that up a little? Sich liegen in ihr Bett in der alcove, in the alcove. So somehow she was somewhere laying in a bed in the alcove. Is that right?
So she became tired. Sie ist bald geworden mit. She became tired. Und gegeben Jakob a Simon, and she gave Jacob a sign that she was going to lie in her bed in the alcove.
Aha. Okay, die dosige Nacht ist gewesen für Sorgen a frisch Pilte,
A verspillte.
oh, Spilke, gewonnen a verspielte, oh, she got played out? Is that what that says?
It was the
Dosige
night
Nacht.
was the night was lost. She couldn't sleep.
And she was filled
It
with
was
lust.
no, it was lost.
Oh,
I thought
lost. Oh, I'm
Lost.
sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Sie hat nicht gekonnt reden mit ihm in Lernen bei ihm teure. She couldn't learn any Torah from him, like by being by
she
him.
couldn't speak to him. Sie hat nicht gekonnt reden mit ihm. She couldn't speak to him, and she couldn't learn Torah with him, with
Yeah.
Yaakov.
So, aber sie hat gewusst, als Chanes Orchim
Hachnosses Orchim.
Chachnoset.
Gnosis,
Hachnosses Orchim.
What is that?
hospitality, hospitality to the guest.
Oh, okay. Is a große mitzvah, is a big mitzvah. And Jakob hat gehad ausgebet die Weiber in der Verdorster.
Vorderster.
Oh, what is that? Verdorster? What does that mean?
Vorderster, the front of the house,
Aha.
front room of the house.
Okay, so he had gehad ausgebet. What he prayed for the
No,
women.
he made beds for them.
Oh, he made beds for the women in the front of the house. Und das Mannsville in a Kammer. And I guess for the men, there was like in a hut or a garage or something,
A room, yeah.
right? Aber die Leid seinen nur nicht gewesen schläfrig, but they weren't sleepy. The fellows there weren't sleepy. Zij zijn reus in drossen schmissen. So they went outside to schmooze a little bit. And Jakob hat sich auch zugesetzt. Oh, so he sat down with them. And hat Freus gesehen, als Savai nicht züten, kein Eug hinter der Nacht.
Heintige Nacht.
Oh, the heintige Nacht, I'm sorry. So what did they say there?
Yeah, so he for us, because he saw that ahead of time, as wird sei wie nicht zu tun kein Eug, that he, in any event, he wouldn't be able to close his eyes, Heintige Nacht, that night.
Aha. So der Traf mit der Prize hat ihm gehad wie a Frage genommen dem Boden von intern the thread. So something happened with the floor. I'm not sure what that says.
Yeah, so the Traf, the event, mit der Pritze, the event that happened with the noble lady, hat ihm gehad wie a vergenommen dem Boden von unter die Tritt. It's schlepped out the
Taken out from
floor
him.
from under his feet.
Yeah. A
Well, she did.
fehlgenommen.
She pulled out what from underneath his feet?
This experience that he had with the noblewoman, it was as if it had pulled the floor out from under his feet.
Wow. Great. Well, I think I've done about as good as I can, don't you think?
Yeah, very good.
Okay,
Well,
there's
All
one
right.
more
I guess,
sentence.
Well,
One more
that,
sentence.
well, let's see. Oh, let's see. Where are we?
Yeah, so jede
Oh,
Minute.
jeder Minute.
ja, jede Minute hat gekonnt kommen a Bruch, a bleib, a Gleus,
Bilbo.
Bilbo.
a Bilbo,
Bilbo.
a Bilbo, a Groz,
A
a
gezera.
Gezerah. So any minute there could have been a calamity. I'm not sure what a Bilbo is.
A Bilbo is a libel.
A libel,
A libel. And a
Libel,
gezera is a decree.
An
not
edict.
decree.